all right. I really am an Australian. You get a few of them over here. I know you do. People ask me, how did you end up in Ireland? Thanks for asking, Westport. I'll tell you. I married an Irishman for my sins. Yeah. But now we're separated and neither of us can get the shift. It wasn't much of a feat, I have to admit, to land an Irish boy. You see, I was working in a sex shop in Perth in 2008, 2009, directly after the Celtic Tiger died. So I met 30,000 Irish visa holders all streaming through the sex shop. This usually divides the crowd because there are men who go, oh yeah, I remember those times. And then there's the girls who go like, yeah, that's where Eamon went and he never came back. Yeah, I bet he was with her. Yeah, but the Irish, they do have the silver tongues, don't they? There's legendary, the land of saints and scholars. So I used to be chatted up quite often by them. And the good thing about working in a sex shop is it went until the wee hours. I didn't close the doors until 3 o'clock. And of course, you know that line in the Pink song, like, the only girl who you know will still be up? That was me. So the only other people awake at that time with time on their hands were Irish boys who were just getting out of the pubs at 3 o'clock in the morning. Exactly. So booty calls are plenty. And I was still sober from working in the sex shop, straight out of work. So I was a designated driver, and I could get up to all kinds of mischief with my newfound companions. So, put up your hand if you've been to Perth. Oh my goodness, oh, there's one over there, and there's, g'day. G'day. So, in the centre of Perth, there is a beautiful public gardens. It's called Queen's Garden, sorry about that. But that notwithstanding is a very beautiful public park. Has a statue of Peter Pan in the middle because it was modelled after Kensington Gardens. It's a beautiful green space. Now, while I was working in the sex shop, there was an article in the paper that the famous bench from Notting Hill had been donated to the public park. Put up your hand if you've seen Notting Hill. Yeah, exactly. So there's a famous scene in the film Notting Hill where Hugh Grant's character and Julie Roberts' character climb over a wall in London to go into a private garden, and they end up sitting on a bench. And at the back of the bench there's a plaque, and it says, "For Jude, who always sat here." So it became a romantic icon. Now, the article in this paper said that a man had bought the bench from a movie props auction after the close of the film, after it wrapped. He was going to propose to his girlfriend on it. So he bought the bench, he proposed to his girlfriend, and she said no. Bit of a crusher, although, kind of a bit passive-aggressive mood. You have to admire her courage. I think, they flash it up on the baseball score, but will you marry me? That's like, you don't have much of a chance to say no, do you? That's sort of every eye on you. So kudos to her for having the moral courage to turn him down and give him the park bench. So lumbered with a park bench, he thought he would donate it to Queen's Gardens. So there were people like queuing on Valentine's Day. There were brides every Sunday with their trains spread out next to this famous bench. But I, of course, worked nights in a sex shop. So I thought, I will go and find this famous bench in the privacy of the wee hours while the sprinklers are going and there's no one there, in the company of one of the Irish boys with whom I used to date. So he was from Dublin, this chap. He was staggering around, as you were, at 3 o'clock in the morning. I picked him up, we swooped him off. We went to the gardens. Now, I couldn't find the bench. I was walking around trying to find the bench. He was staggering around, vomiting, because he was a big cider drinker. He explained to me it's because you all start your kids in Sidone and then you transition straight into the cider and you're all vomiting by the time you're 25 with ulcers. At least that was his story. So I couldn't find the park bench, the one from Notting Hill. But he kind of had this moment of clarity. He said, was this bench important to you? It's not a big deal. It would have been nice to find it. He goes, it's all right, we'll make our own bench. So we staggered over to the nearest bench and he carved our initials on the back of the bench, which was an act of wanton vandalism, but also quite a romantic impulse from the Dubliner. I was touched. No one had ever done that to me when I was a teenager, so it did count. Of course, inevitably, we split up. And a couple of weeks later, there was another Irish boy with whom I decided I would go and try and find the Notting Hill bench. So, of course, again, the wee hours of the morning, and the time difference being what the time difference is between Ireland and Australia, all of those backpackers were still getting phone calls from home and their mammies all different times of the day. Because Jesus, I forgot what time it was over there, I'm so sorry. Oh, it's all right, ma'am. The biscuits are shite here. But as we were entering the Queen's Gardens to try and find this park bench, the new fella got a phone call from his brother who was back in Dublin. It was a missed call, and he said, "Oh, talk to him later." Put the phone away. We went around Queen's Gardens, and this time we found the bench. Woo! Exactly. Now, apart from the people sleeping in the bushes around the edges of the park at night, we had the entire gardens to ourselves with a very romantic bench. We made mad, passionate love on that bench. Beneath the stars, yes. Thank you, Westport, I'm glad you approve. It was a beautiful moment beneath the starry skies, in the tropical heat of Perth. It was my summer of Irish boy love. And as we made our way back to the car, the Irish boy got another phone call from his brother, and this time his brother said, "Did you write that, did you?" Because my knee had hit redial. Last number called. So I had entertained the brother back in Dublin who listened to the entire thing. It seems to be a current theme of the Irish. It's just like they'll read your letters and they'll listen to you making mad, passionate love on a park bench in our time. But love is, of course, in the eye of the beholder, and so is romance, because it was in the paper just last year, you'll never guess. That bench was from B&Q. They just bunged a fake plaque on it. It was just a publicity stunt to get people to come to the bloody gardens. So there you go, Westport. You've been fantastic. I've been Mama Duck. You can find me any time.